proud to present so important and strong speakers today with Kurt Lilje, Ms. Anna Kava, Dr. Sven Gruppe, Snorri Sigurdsson from Denmark, and Liu Chang Kwang. All these specialists are really knowing what they are talking about in the field of dairy.
今天呢，我们非常荣幸能够邀请到
Last but not least, I wish much success for our today's webinar, and I wish that all participants could gather very helpful information for their enterprises. Much success and thank you.
非常感谢今天这个各位嘉宾的接受邀请，也希望我们今天的在座的对今天的这个会议感到有所收获，谢谢。Yeah.
Lily.
Okay. Yeah.
To interrupt you. Mr. Lilje still is on the way to his office. Probably we can start with Mr. Gruppe.
Yes, we can do it. Yeah.
Would it be okay just for your introduction now? Okay, so.
Sure. Thank you. Yeah. Thank you, Mr. Koch, for your kind words, and I hope to see you very soon in Hanover or in China.
For me, I hope seeing you in China.
Sure. 1st September in China first.
Yes, I will do my booking as soon as possible.
Thank you. So today we have invited our speaker from Germany, Denmark, and of course currently the dairy is at a global crisis with dairy production. But as all of you know that Eurotier or Eurotier China is a technical platform. So today we will not touch about the economic topic, but we will focus on the practical farming level issues. And so our first speaker today is Mr. Sven Gruppe. Sven Gruppe is where we can see he's well known in China by many Chinese farmers because he worked in China for more than 6 years. And I think he was everywhere, every corner of China. He even traveled more than me and to many farms, dairy farm. And he returned to Germany last year and started his new business in the consulting company. And so we are very pleased to have Sven Gruppe today. And he was talking about the reduction of antibiotic through the hygiene measure in milk production. Sven, floor is yours. Thank you.
So, thank you very much, Lily, and Wei Ni Hao. I want to speak today, and I was asked for a recommendation in traceability and safety in dairy fodder production. And so I will give you a few explanations about what you can do on your dairy farm and how is maybe some recommendation for the Chinese dairy farms. But next slide, please.
谢谢 Lily。那么之前呢，这个主办方要求我就奶牛饲料生产中的可追溯性和安全性提供一些建议，所以呢，今天我会给大家解释一下我们在奶牛场可以开展一些什么工作，也会针对中国奶牛场的情况提一些具体的建议。
So I want to explain you something about the basics, what we have in Germany for traceability and how it is organized. If you are buying some forages or some concentrates, and then I will give you some implementation, how it is used. We have a small example. It's a big dairy farm in Germany, and we have made an interview last week with the owner of that farm. And then I will have a small recommendations. And you see this picture on the side. This is a picture from China. It's a big dairy farm near to Tianjin with more than 6,000 dairy cows on that farm. And you see how storage is organized.
今天我的这个报告呢，分为4个部分。首先，我会介绍一下在德国我们奶牛饲料生产中可追溯性的一些基本情况，以及相关的工作如何开展。比如说，我们在购买饲草或者是精料的时候，有一些什么相关的工作。第二个呢，就是我们如何去落实可追溯性和安全性。第3个部分呢，会讲一个案例。介绍一下德国的一个奶牛场。这个奶牛场是我们上周去这个采访过的。第4个部分呢，我会提供一些建议。刚才这张幻灯片上我们可以看到的是在天津的一个规模很大的奶牛场，有6000头奶牛。
Okay, so first I want to start to show you, because a lot of people know me in China and where I was working today, and this is a consulting company. It's established more than 30 years ago, and it's working mainly in the dairy farming and consulting in dairy cattle production. And we have a focus on the economic side, not only on the natural side, but mainly on the economic side. And we have inside this farms with an average size around 900 dairy cows. So it's a wide range, also big farms, what you also see in China. One other aspect is an arable farming consulting. Then we have 1 expert in financing and 3 experts in assessment. And assessment is also very important for us today. And this is a picture, and you see this is a picture of the group. Not everybody's on the picture, but you can see also the website there, and then maybe if you're interested, you can have a look to this.
首先我在中国呢，很多人都非常的了解我。但是现在呢，我其实已经到一家咨询公司去工作了。这家咨询公司呢，已经有30多年的历史，主攻方向就是奶牛生产方面的相关咨询工作。而且我们的关注点，这个是在相关的经济因素方面，而不仅仅是一些自然的因素。现在呢，有这个很多奶牛方面的相关的工作开展。另外呢，我们还有这个种植业方面的咨询工作。我们还有1名金融专家，3名评估专家。大家在幻灯片上可以看到我们这个团队的所有人。另外呢，我们的网址也在幻灯片上展示出来。如果感兴趣的话，大家可以去访问一下。
So first we want to start with the basics. There is a basic regulation in Germany, which is called Article 82, 81, 18. And in this is regulated how is the, what you have to document if you are dealing with feed or if you are producing feed. And there's also a feed hygienic regulation. And this is by the government, this is the law. Everybody, every farmer have to be maybe registered, and everybody who is dealing with feed. And determination for this one is that everybody who is producing feed have to be registered. So if you feed selling to your neighbor farm, you have to be registered. So everybody can follow where you are dealing with your fodder or what you are producing. And all of the movements, the harvest and storing have to be documented.
首先，我们来看第一部分，就是一些基本情况。在德国呢，我们有一个基本条例第18条，还有一个饲料卫生法规，都是做相关的这个规定的。那么，根据我们的规定呢，如果说我们做饲料相关的生产以及其他相关工作的话，都必须要记录在案才行。每一个农民，这个奶牛场主也必须记录在案。即使你把这个饲料卖给自己邻居家的这个奶牛场的话，也一定要记录在案才行。其实也就是说，你的所有的运输啊、收货啊、储存这一切相关的饲料的工作，都必须得记录在案。
how is the implementation, and farmers in primary feed production, you have to document how it's organized, the amount of the feed, the application of plant pesticides when you are producing it, the application if you are using GMO plants, also the occurrence of vermins you have to document, and you have also that you have a plan in your farm how you are avoiding vermins, and also analysis for primary feed production. And for the dairy farmers also it's necessary, if you have livestock for nutrition production, you need a documentation of which kind and origin of the feed you are using, and also where it is used in the fodder formula, and so that you have a complete documentation how this is the flow in what is coming inside of the dairy farm, and how it is dealt and how it is going outside for the product like milk or like meat. Okay.
第二部分我们来看一下落实情况。那么农民在进行基本的这个饲料生产的时候呢，需要从以下几个方面进行注意。第一个是饲料的来源和数量，第二个是农药的使用情况，第三个是转基因作物的这个使用，第四个是寄生虫有没有出现，第五个呢是初级饲料生产的一个分析。我们需要对于奶农来说呢，如果说进行这个营养生产的话，还需要记录你的牲畜饲料的种类以及来源，都要进行存档，以及它们是如何应用的，这个饲料它的这个配比是什么样的，也就是说需要对整个过程进行一个完整的记录。你的
Okay. So this should explain you a little bit how it is working, how are the ways. And you have the forage production maybe inside of your farm, or maybe you are buying the forage. In China, we know that a lot of farms is buying everything but in the fodder production. They are buying the concentrate and also minerals and additives, and you have to get some documents from everything what you are buying from your suppliers. And so you have to store this document, and we take everything mixing in a TMR, and the product what we have, this is the milk. The milk is what we are selling, and milk is a raw product we are selling to the processors. And so if there's something in the milk, you can go back to every step in the production chain, and you can follow it. And this is what is necessary for traceability in food production today. And so you can see also on the left side, there's a picture from bales. This is silage bales. And on every bale, there is one number where you can follow what is this, where it is produced. And so you can see also in silage, you can have very good documentation if you are doing it yourself. So, okay.
我们可以看到，这张图片上呢显示了对于饲料的这个，无论是在农场，
没事了，是的。大家可以看到，我们很多农场呢会自己中国很多牧场是自己购买粗料、精料，甚至是添加剂，都是来从外面购买。这种情况下，在经过 TMR 混合之后呢，那么最终的产物是牛奶。那么饲管建议呢，在各种进料过程当中都要做好这个记录的工作，它从哪里来，是哪个上家所供货，甚至左图相当着我们这个打完的捆之后呢，如果是你自己做的，也要甚至是购买的，一定要做好记录。这样呢，在我们后续当中就能够追溯的比较好。这个产品来自哪里，所以对我们未来的这个可追溯性是非常有必要的。Yes, please.
Okay, so now I want to give you a small movie we made on the dairy farm of Mr. Kösling. He is the owner of that farm, is also the owner of the consulting company, and he wants to tell you what he's doing on his farm. So please, let's have the movie now.
Dieser Betrieb befindet sich in der Gegend zwischen Hannover und Berlin, bewirtschaftet 1900 Hektar mit 1200 Milchkühen in einem ganz konventionellen System. Und wir füttern unsere Herde in Gruppenfütterung und benutzen dafür für die Konzentrate zugekaufte Einzelkomponenten beziehungsweise eigenes Getreide und eigenen Körnermais. Die Einzelkomponenten werden in Chargen, Lkw-Chargen zugeliefert. Wenn ein Lkw mit zugekaufter Ware zu uns kommt, fährt er zunächst über die Waage, es wird eine Fuhrwerkswaage, es wird eine Gegenprobe gewogen. Dann kommt der Lkw-Fahrer in das Büro und bringt den Lieferschein mit in das Büro. Auf dem Lieferschein steht die Herkunft der Ware darauf, Trieb einfahren und hier in diesem Futterhaus abgeben. Die Ware wird dann in Einzelboxen hier gelagert und wird dann weiterverwendet. Bei unseren eigenen erzeugten Futtermitteln, also Getreide, Mais, Schrot und den Silagen, wird auch eine Dokumentation durchgeführt, indem wir bei der Ernte Wiegeprotokolle anfertigen. Wieder fährt das Erntefahrzeug über die Waage. Es werden Proben gezogen auf die Qualität, Trockensubstanzgehalte und dann wird die Ware eingelagert. Es wird auf einer Liste eingetragen, von welchen Schlägen die Ernteware stammt. Und bei Silagegewinnung gibt es auch eine Prozessführung, das heißt insbesondere die Trockensubstanzgehalte von Gras- oder Mais-Silagen werden ständig geprüft im Vorlauf, vor dem Häckseln und auch beim Häckseln, sodass die Trockensubstanzsteuerung geschehen kann. In diesem System ist es dann möglich, jederzeit bei Fehlern in den Futtermitteln jederzeit nachzuvollziehen, wo die Ware herkommt und wo vielleicht ein Fehler entstanden sein kann. Und diese Nachprüfung kann sowohl von der Molkerei, die unsere Milch verarbeitet, in unserem Betrieb erfolgen, weil ja auch das Endprodukt Milch ständig kontrolliert wird. Jeder LKW, der hier vom Hof fährt, wird geprobt und dann könnten wir im Fall einer Havarie nachvollziehen, woher die fehlerhafte Ware gekommen ist oder ob wir in unserem eigenen Betriebssystem ein Verunreinigungsproblem, ein Qualitätsproblem haben.
Vielen Dank, Herr Kösling, für diese Ausführungen und Ihnen für Ihren Betrieb weiterhin alles Gute und gutes Gelingen und viel Erfolg in diesem doch sehr schwierigen Jahr. Vielen Dank.
Dankeschön.
Okay. So, translation or next slide? Next slide. So, okay, I think it was interesting to see how in a farm is established this the system, and if you are doing it every day, so it's normally, then it's not so problematic, then it means that maybe today. So, how is the recommendation for dairy farms in China? And I think this is a documentation from every supplier's. You need the delivery, when it is coming, how is the quality, how is the quantity of the products you get, how is the forage, and also for the concentrate, and also from where, name of the farms. If you get some hay, so it's not only hay, you have to know from where it is coming, and also create a receipt for the feed. And what is also very important is from the carriers, the transportation is very important because for contamination. And so you have to know what feed and how much, and when loaded and where, maybe from the farm. And this is also important for forage production. And we know it from maize silage from Hsinchu. This is a problematic product when it is transported. And maybe is it the direct way to the farm? So, okay.
我对于中国奶牛场的建议，就是首先我们来看一下刚才那个短片呢，其实描述这个农场如何建立自己的体系，可能不是一件很有意思的事情。但是如果我们在日常中都注意到了这些事情的话，那么就不会觉得十分的复杂了。对中国奶牛场的建议呢，就是要做好资料的存档，无论你是买这个草料还是精料，都一定要做好存档。那么从供应商那里购买产品的时候，它的交货时间明细、数量、质量来源、具体农场的名字，还有饲料的收据都要做存档。另外呢，运输也是一个很有可能产生污染的源头，尤其是对于这个玉米倾注饲料，所以呢，我们也是要记录好购买了什么饲料，有多少，装货的时间、地点，比如说是在农场装货的，还是在仓库。另外呢，因为倾注饲料运输中非常有可能产生问题，所以还得了解他们在运输中是否走了一个最短的直接的路线。
Okay, next slide. And this is a recommendation on the dairy farm. You have to do a farm gate control, so every delivery have to be controlled. And then where is the feed stored in the farm? You also have to document that you know where it is lying. Maybe if you have some gansau, some haze, you have to know where it is stored. For which fodder formula you will use it, and for the silage, how fast is the ensiling? Again, it's important, not the silage themselves you get. The ensiling is important. And store a provision pattern from every delivery. It's important because then you can follow up and you can show and maybe can analyze where are problems in your delivery. So, okay.
我们接着看对中国奶牛场的建议，在奶牛场呢还要做好这个入口大门的这个控制，要了解饲料在牛场存储的地点，用于什么样的饲料配方。另外，如果是倾注饲料的话，还要了解这个再次倾注的速度。这个时候我们关注的就不仅仅是倾注饲料的本身，而是这个倾注的过程了。另外呢，就是要根据每次的这个供货总结总结出一个供应模式，这样我们就可以继续跟进，做相关的分析，了解问题出在哪里。
Okay. So thank you very much for your attention. Venti, do you have some questions now? So thank you very much for your attention. 谢谢，谢谢。
谢谢大家。那么是否有什么问题呢？
Yeah, thank you, Sven, for your suggestion from the traceability, from the feeding. There's two questions. One is from Indonesia. Indonesia is asking any suggestion to set up a dairy farm in tropical area, Indonesia. Yes, this is a question. Question one.
我们来看。
Yes.
首先，我们来看第一个问题，来自印尼，在热带地区如何建立奶牛场？
And the question is how to build up a dairy farm in tropical areas.
Yes. Yes.
Well, this is a wide range. We need a lot of details. And what is very important for fodder, storing the fodder is that you will have problems because of the wet climate. And for the concentrate, what I saw in the southern areas of China also, it is problematic for the storing. If it is not really dry, so the fodder is going worse in a few time. And for the silage, it's also very problematic if you are using some silage, because they have many time the silage system is not so easy to do it, and because it's getting warm, and then also it's damaged silage. This is the main problems what you would have. I think we should get in contact with this man from Indonesia, and maybe then we can talk more about details, because I think then time is running out if we want to explain everything about farm building up in Indonesia. Maybe he can write me an email, and then I can discuss with him directly about more about details.
Okay, so I think Mr. Peros, I think as he said, you might write email, and if you can also contact us, we'll get you connected with Sven. Yeah. And also our another speaker, Snorri, he also mentioned that he can answer a question. And actually, we have another question from Australia. The question is, what's the best measurement for the quantity of the TMR ratio?
The quantity.
Yeah, what's the best measurement to commercially quantity the energy content of TMR ratio?
This belongs completely what you have for cows, and also what you have for fodder formula, and how you are where the cows are housed. If the energy, you could also feed energy up to 1.8 megacalories. Like in China you do it, or in Israel, if you have very intensive production, but mainly this is a very expensive production. So which is an economic one, is more than less, maybe 1.665 megacalorie per kilogram of dry matter. So I think the TMR belongs really on your conditions on the farm, and also you have to analyze the economic aspects. The highest energy and protein amounts are very expensive, and in many cases you are feeding a high production, but in many cases you also are not very economic with this way. So I think one is create your TMR, what is the demands of your dairy cows, and on the other hand you have to optimize your TMR on economic aspects. So this is what it means, where is the amount and how high should it be.
关于第一个问题的那个回答，就是这个问题其实是很宽泛的，还需要更多的细节。对于这个乳业生产来讲呢，一个潮湿的环境和气候呢，可能不是特别好的选择，因为中国华南呢其实也是情况类似，在这种环境下进行生产面临很多的问题。比如说这个饲草和这个倾注饲料都有可能变质。而且呢，我们可能很难做这个倾注饲料，因为环境的温度过高，有可能损坏倾注的过程。这就是在热带建议奶牛场有可能面临的主要问题。那我们也可以和这位印尼的提问者取得直接联系，通过电子邮件的方式进行更多直接的沟通。第二个问题来自澳大利亚，是关于这个全混日粮中能量饲料的这个成分如何进行一个最佳的配比。那么答案就是说，可以定在这个 1.8， 也可以定在 1.6、1.65， 这个指的是对于每公斤干物质来说。但是呢，这个全混日粮其实要看两个方面，一个是农场的相关条件，奶牛的这个需求，另外一个呢就是经济因素。那么我们在全混日粮中，通过这个蛋白质提供的高能量的饲料，它的成本是很高的。很多情况下我们喂的太多，但是经济方面并不是特别的可行。这个是我的答案。
Thank you very much, Sven. And next question already came to the documentation of the veterinary medicine. I think this will lead to our next presentation from my colleague in Frankfurt. And Anna, my colleague, Miss Anna from a DRG Dairy Committee, he will presenting you the regulation of the medicine use. And also my colleague from Mr. called Lily. He's the chairman of DRG Committee on Dairy Production. So both of Miss Anna and Mr. called Lily were presenting you both from either theoretical way and also from practically, because Mr. Cott, he's a dairy farmer, and he has more than 300 cows and 16 3-hectare farms. And also he has 3 digester. It's a family farm run by the 100 years. So I would like to invite my colleague, he presenting you from the medicine part of the medicine application in the dairy farm. So Anna and Mr. Koch, yes, please.
So thank you, Lily. Dear listeners, I would also like to welcome you to this webinar, and I look forward to providing you with some information on reducing antibiotic use through hygiene measures on German dairy farms together with Cord Lilia.
接下来我们的2位演讲人呢，将会介绍一下这个兽药的方面，也就是介绍一下德国农场在减抗和卫生措施方面的一些具体做法。那么我们的发言人呢，是来自具有100多年历史的家庭农场，他们有300头奶牛，占地16.3公顷。2位发言人 Anna Kara 和 Cord Lily 将会给大家具体介绍一下情况。那么 Anna 呢，首先向大家表示欢迎，希望今天能够从减抗以及卫生措施方面给大家介绍一些信息。
So next slide, please.
下张
So
幻灯。
at first, I will tell you some facts about dairy farming in Germany and the use of antibiotics, and then I will go on with the topic selective drying of cows.
首先，我来给大家介绍一下德国奶牛养殖的基本情况、抗生素的使用情况。接下来呢，就给大家介绍一下选择性干奶疗法。
So Germany has around 60,000 dairy farmers, which keep around 4 million dairy cows, and they produce 33 million tons of milk per year. German dairy farmers have an average milk yield of 8,059 kilograms raw milk per cow and year, and with a production value of 11.1 billion euros in the year 2018, milk production is the most important field of agriculture production in Germany.
德国有大约6万名奶农，这个奶牛的存栏量呢是将近400万头，每年的牛奶产量是3300万吨。我们每年的这个原奶的单产呢能够达到8.059吨，在2018年。牛奶产值达到111亿欧元，是德国农业生产中最重要的支柱。
So next slide, please. So antibiotic use in Germany has decreased since 2011. In this graph, you can see the dispensing quantities of antibiotics from human and veterinary medicine in tons. So as you can see, the quantities of antibiotics in the veterinary medicine decreased by almost 60% from 2011 to 2016. Reasons for the reduction are higher requirements, such as the obligation to record the use of antibiotics in fattening.
我们在这张图上可以看到德国抗生素的使用情况，自2011年以来用量是大幅的下降。我们可以看到，无论是人医还是兽医中的这个抗生素用量都是在不断下降。从2011年到2016年呢，兽药中抗生素用量降了将近60%。那么原因在哪里呢？一个就是因为现在的要求更加严格，要求这个农民呢对于农民在这个育肥中，在各个生产环节中，对抗生素的使用进行严格的记录存档。
So next slide, please.
下一张。
In 2018, the antibiotic dispensing quantities in the veterinary medicine again decreased to an amount of 722 tons. So 99% of that were preparations that are approved for food-producing animals, such as chickens, pigs, and cattle. And for us important, around 1.7% from that were for intramammary use. So for example, for preparations for drying of cows. And that part is the most important part and reasonable for the use of antibiotics in dairy farming.
在这个2018年呢，我们看到德国的抗生素兽药用量是继续的下降，用量总共是722吨，其中713吨，也就是99%被批准用于食用动物，其中约11.8吨，是这个乳房内食用。这个呢是在这个奶液中最重要的一个用途就是为干奶做准备，也是最合理的一个使用抗生素的理由。
So, and because of what we saw in the slide before, our DLG Committee Dairy Production and Cattle Farming created a leaflet with the topic Dry Cow Treatment, How to Improve Udder Health in the Dry Period. In this leaflet, also the method of selectively drying of cows is described in more detail, and I want to explain it now to you.
之前呢，这个德国农协发过一个小册子，是关于这个干奶疗法的，以及在干奶期如何对奶牛进行治疗，其中也讲到了这个选择性干奶治疗。今天我就给大家介绍一下更多的细节。
So the term selective drying of cows means the limitation of the dose from antibiotic dry preparations to infected or at least diseased animals. One important fact is the cell count. So there are different methods which show the health status of the udder. One method is the direct test through the milk performance test, which is practiced at the most farms in Germany 11 times a year. In this test, facts like the milk amount, the content of milk ingredients like fat and protein, and what is for our topic today important, the cell content of each cow is being analyzed.
那么这个选择性干奶期治疗指的是对于已经感染或者是患病的奶牛，在它的干奶期使用抗生素进行治疗。这其中很重要的一个方面呢，就是看这个体细胞的数量。我们有不同的方法去衡量奶牛的健康状况，其中有一个呢，就是这个通过牛奶性能测试进行直接的检测，在德国大部分牛场呢都是采用这个检测方法，每年测11次，可以对牛奶的成分，比如说脂肪和蛋白质进行检测。
So another way is the California mastitis test. There you check the health status of each udder quarter. In the picture you can see the different results of it. I suppose that the most participants of today's sessions know what it is, but it is still an important topic which should be more present in our barns. So as you know, the result of how the fluid changes is important for the assessment of udder health. So the milk reagent mixture becomes all the more viscous and changes its consistency from thin to streaky, slimy to gelatinous, the more cells are in the milk.
第二种方法呢是加州乳房炎测试方法，来对这个来对每一个乳区进行检测。我想今天参会的绝大多数人呢都了解这一方法，但是它仍然是相当重要的，我们应该给予更多的重视。这个方法呢就是来看这个液态奶它的这个变化情况，来反映奶牛的健康状况。如果说我们发现这个液体变得粘稠，或者是出现凝胶以及结块的这个情况，就说明体细胞的含量非常高。
So here you can see how to decide whether you use antibiotics or not. And this is a single cow decision and no total dry cow therapy. So you look at the last milk performance test before drying off. And if it is under 100,000 cells per milliliter and the California mastitis test is negative, you don't need to use antibiotics for drying off this cow. If the cow has, in this case, a positive California mastitis test, you should use antibiotics. And of course, if the cell content is over 100,000 cells per milliliter, you should use antibiotics for drying off on all 4 quarters. And another tip, if the cow had a mastitis in the lactation before drying off, it is advisable to use antibiotics for drying off so the udder can get healthy over the drying period.
我们来看一下抗生素使用的一个决定流程是怎么样的。我们是需要根据单个牛只的状况来做这个决定的。首先来看干奶前最后一次这个测试中体细胞的数量。如果说体细胞数量小于每毫升10万个的话，那么有2种情况，一个是阴性，那么就不需要使用抗生素治疗；阳性的话就需要使用抗生素。那另外一种体细胞数量超过每毫升10万个就不需要使用抗生素，而且是在4个乳区都要使用。这里有一个小建议，就是如果奶牛在泌乳期的时候已经出现了乳房炎，那么建议还是使用抗生素，这样奶牛可以在干奶期的时候恢复它的健康状况。
So everyone knows how to dry off a cow, but still I want to look closer on this topic because hygiene is everything. This is a short example how we have it in our leaflet. For example, at my parents' farm in Austria, I make it even more complicated, you would say. I of course use new gloves, but instead of disinfect the teat cup 1 time, I do it 2 times. First of all, I disinfect all 4 quarters. Then I disinfect the first quarter again and insert the tube cap, and then I'm going further to the second one. Here I continue the procedure. So I can avoid the dirt which adjacently, maybe because the cow moved, came on the teat cup in the time I was inserting the tube in another quarter, gets in the teat when I then insert the tube. At the end, I dip all quarters with teat disinfection.
我们来看一下如何进行干奶的操作。这个我想大家其实都非常熟悉，但是我来更详细的解释一下，因为卫生是最重要的一个方面。我以我们在小册子中进行的这个宣传图示为例。其实呢，我父母在奥地利的那个农场，我们采用的流程更加的复杂。这个图上是消毒1次，我们会消毒2次。会对4个乳区呢都进行2次消毒，因为我要防止在给一个乳区这个进行操作的时候，另一个乳区因为奶牛这个动蹄子啊或者是什么在沾上这个尘土，所以会进行2次消毒。那我先是用新手套，然后对乳头端杀菌消毒，然后取下药管的管帽，将药管顶端深入乳头。之后呢，再用就对乳头进行药浴消毒。
So next slide, please. So not just the topic drying of cows is important when we want to reduce antibiotic use. You have to make sure that you work in all parts of dairy production on your farm as clean as possible to lower the pollution and so the risk of infection to get healthy cows which does not need antibiotics.
我们在谈到这个减抗这个话题的时候，其实需要注意的不仅仅是干奶的操作，还需要确保卫生措施全都施行到位。我们需要确保农场的各个方面都是尽可能的清洁，做到低污染、低感染风险，奶牛健康状况良好，这样才能减少抗生素的使用。
So next slide, please.
下张。
So Dr. Sven Gruppe already showed you how important the documentation is when you, for example, get concentrate delivered on your farm. And Cordelia will now show you what he is doing on his farm to guarantee a high level of health and to reduce at the same time the antibiotic use to the necessary extent. In the following slide, you will see the clip of his farm and him. And I want to hand over the word to you, Cord. Thank you for listening.
刚才呢，Swan Group 先生给大家介绍了将这个精料运输到农场这个过程中需要注意卫生。那么 Lily 呢也会从自己农场的经验给大家介绍一下，她是如何保持较好的这个奶牛健康水平，并且如何将抗生素使用降到必要的水平。接下来呢会给大家播放一个短片，来让大家了解一下他的农场和他本人的相关情况。
Hello everybody, my name is Kurt Lilie and I'm a dairy farmer in the northern part of Germany. I'd like to show you what we do to reduce the use of antibiotics at our farm. Therefore, we will take a closer look at the harvesting and ensilaging of the first cut of grass, and I will explain what is important to produce high quality feed. Because feed of poor quality will depress the immune system of the cow, and that causes more infections.
大家好，我是 Kurt Lilie。大家好，我是 Kurt Lilie。我在德国农场的北部呢有奶牛场。今天我给大家介绍一下如何减少抗生素的使用。那个在农场的这个操作中呢，其实不仅仅是倾注啊，还有这个收奶非常的重要。其实，这个饲料的质量也是非常重要的。我们一定要使用优质饲料，因为劣质饲料会影响到奶牛的免疫系统。
Hello.
Yes, hello everybody out there. First of all, I'd like to thank you that I can be part in this webinar and show you a little bit about our farm. So we start with the preparation of silage, and what is important for us is that we have a clean bunker silo, so we clean it out. Usually the walls are painted again, so that protects the walls from the acid of the silage, and it makes sure that the walls are clean, and so no dirt can get into the silage. And then we put plastic wrap on the walls, and these plastic wraps, we will see that later in the video, make sure that the edge where the grass touches the walls is really sealed and no air can get in.
非常高兴能够参加今天的论坛。我将会介绍一下我们在这个倾注饲料方面的一些相关工作。那么在这个倾注饲料方面的注意事项呢，首先就是要有洁净的料仓，我们要对这个料仓的墙壁进行再次粉刷，确保它的清洁以及这个与外界的隔绝。这个时候也不能有尘土等脏东西。另外呢，我们还需要在这个墙上贴塑料薄膜，确保这个倾注草料与墙壁接触这个区域呢不会有空气进入。
Okay, next slide, please. Okay, this is a short clip that shows how we cut the grass.
一个短片来给大家看一下如何割草。
Okay, we are cutting grass now, and the thing we have to make sure is that the cutting height is at the right size, and we want to have about 8 centimeters. Here we are at 7.5 centimeters. That's okay. We don't want to have any soil or ground in the grass, so it's nice and clean.
在割草的时候呢，我们要注意割草的高度在8公分左右。刚才我们测量是在7.5公分，也是 OK 的。这个就是为了确保草料中呢不会含有土壤。
The idea behind it is that soil not only reduces the amount of energy that is in your silage, it also results in a bad ensilaging. So we don't want to have any butyric acids in the silage, and soil is one part that can lead to butyric acid in the silage.
我们刚才看的这个短片，就是割草的时候要注意不要弄进这个土壤去，因为土壤一个是会降低倾注饲料中的能量成分，再一个呢可能会导致它变质。我们在做倾注饲料的时候是不希望有这些杂质，这样有可能会产生一些酸性成分。
Yes, next slide.
To put on small layers of material so the pile gets compact really well and the air gets out of the pile.
我们还需要注意要压得紧实，这样呢中间不会有空气。
Yeah, here you can see the plastic cover that's over the walls, and this next video shows how we cover the pile to make sure that no air can get in.
这个接下来会通过短片给大家看一下，怎么给这个草料堆去盖塑料布，也是为了确保不会有空气进入。
Okay, next we put down the plastic that covered the wall. And after that, the top layer is put on, and that makes sure that the pile is really sealed, no air gets in, and even along the walls it is very tight and no air can get in. Okay, now the top layer is put on, and after that we put on a mesh, and the mesh is fixed by sandbags, and that's how it's sealed. Okay, and that's how a perfect sealed silo, bunker silo, looks like. We're all done, it's all covered, and that should give a perfect grass silage.
在这个给草料堆铺塑料布之后呢，我们在顶层之上还要加一层这个网格，然后这个网子呢是通过沙袋来进行固定的，这样就是确保能够压实，中间不会有任何的空气，包括这个料仓的沿墙也不会有任何的空气，这就是一个完美的倾注饲料仓。
Okay, now we switch to the milking part, to the milking routine. Here it's important that you follow one rule, and the golden rule is only attach milkers to clean, dry and well-stimulated teats.
接下来我们来看一下挤奶的部分。那么这里有一个黄金原则，就是挤奶的时候只选择洁净、干燥，并且进行了良好刺激的乳头。
So our milking routine is the first step to strip, to pre-milk and check for abnormal milk, so indicator of mastitis. And we want to have 3 strips out of each teat.
第一步呢，就是我们会从每个乳头中都取出这个3管奶来进行一个检测，会把这个不正常的奶呢丢弃掉，然后看一下有没有显示乳房炎的一些指标。
After that, we clean the teats with a cotton towel that is washed after milking. For every cow, we use 1 single new towel.
接下来呢，就是清洁乳头，我们用这个棉毛巾对它进行清洁，而且每一头牛呢都是有一个单独的一个新毛巾。
These two first steps we do with 3 cows, and then we go back to the first cow and put on the milkers. That makes sure that there is a time between first touching the teat and putting on the milkers from about 40-45 seconds. So the cow has time to be stimulated, and that helps the milk let down.
这个前2步呢，我们是先在3头牛身上操作完了之后，再回到第1头牛，进行这个挤奶器的放置。这个是为了确保在进行乳头的接触之后，给它留出40到45秒的时间，来确保它能够得到一个良好的刺激，这样这个挤奶的时候很顺利。
Only well-stimulated cows will milk out fast and complete. So that's why it's so important to give the cow 45 to 60 seconds to get ready to be milked.
我刚才说过，只有受到良好刺激的这个乳头呢，才能够进行比较好的这个挤奶，而且能够完全挤奶。所以我们要留出40到45秒的时间，让奶牛做好充分的准备。
And to complete the milking routine, every cow is dipped after milking. That prevents from mastitis after milking.
最后一步，挤奶的最后一步就是要进行乳头的药浴，这也是为了预防产生乳房炎。
Okay, next slide. Now this is a short video clip in the barn, and that shows how we make sure that the stalls are clean.
这个短片给大家展示一下我们如何确保牛舍的洁净。
When it comes to fighting mastitis, there are basically 2 battlegrounds. One is in the milking parlor and one is right here in the stalls where the cows lay down. So we want to make sure that the udder of the cow is dry and clean. So that's why like the alley scraper, they run every hour, and twice a day when the cows are out in the holding area to be milked, we clean out the stalls. Everything that's wet and dirty has to go out, and fresh clean bedding is put on that spot. The bedding is a mattress out of a mixture of lime, straw and water. We put that in about every 4 to 5 weeks, and 3 times a week, every Monday, Wednesday and Friday, we put fresh bedding on top of it. It's a top bedding. It consists of fine chopped straw, and this way we make sure that it's always fresh bedding at the end of the stall, so the udder stays clean, and that makes sure that the mastitis rate doesn't get too high.
在这个牛舍中呢，我们需要注意2个地点，第一个就是挤奶厅，第2个就是这个牛的躺卧区。我们需要确保乳房是干燥并且清洁的。那么在短片中可以看到，这个粪刷呢是每个小时都要运行1次。在这个牛只去挤奶的时候呢，我们会将牛舍中这些比较潮湿和肮脏的东西全都清除掉。那么接下来呢，就是这个垫料要确保它是新鲜的、清洁的。垫料呢是这个生石灰、草料和水的一个混合体。我们是每4到5周就更换1次，并且呢每周3次，分别在周1、周3和周5加上新的这个草料。我们的这个垫料呢是切得非常碎的、非常细的干草。 它永远都是这个非常新鲜的、清洁的，这样才能够确保我们的牛只不会有较高的乳房炎发病率。
Yes, and here are the basic take-home messages. We want to have or maintain a high level of health, while at the same time we'd like to reduce the use of antibiotics, and we do that by single cow decisions when it comes to drying off, and hygiene measures when it comes to the feed, the milking, and in the stalls where the cows lay down. Those are the 4 parts that ensure that the infection rates on the farm are low.
最后来总结一下，我们的目标呢，就是要保持较高的牛只健康水平，并且减少抗生素使用，仅维持在必要的程度。在这个干奶疗法这方面呢，我们会进行单个牛只具体情况具体分析。在卫生措施方面呢，我们会注意4个区域，包括这个饲喂区、躺卧区、挤奶区，还有这个就是饲料的这个储料仓，这些措施都是为了确保感染率较低。
Well, thanks a lot for your attention, and Anna and I, we are happy to take your questions.
感谢大家，我们非常愿意接受大家的提问。
Thank you, Anna, and thank you, Lely, for your very impressive presentation and showing your farm with a very vivid video. And as you all know that antibiotic is forbidden now in China, especially from a feed session. And these rules will become effective since next year, beginning of next year. And this year, and beginning of July, it will regulate that no production of antibiotic feeding additives and no application since beginning of next year. And this already become a topic, hot topic for pig and the poultry sector. And now, of course, due to the dairy sector is very special case due to the cow mastitis. So now I think the presentation of Anna and Mr. Court give us a very good review, and also Sven give us very good review from a biosecurity and hygiene preparation to reduce and reduce the drugs use. And thank you very much. And I don't see any special question, but our audience, you're free to leave your question at by typing, and we hope to answer your question even by end of the presentation as well at the discussion channel. And of course, due to the antibiotic use, we have another speaker now from China Danish Center, Mr. Snorri. Actually, Mr. Snorri is in China, and he also knows China very well. He traveled around China and worked for the China-Denmark Milk and the Cooperation Center. So Snorri, and yours floor.
Thank you very much. I hope you can hear me. Actually, I think you need to use my PPTs, so I cannot share my screen. There's some slow connection here. Can you put on the...
可以直接放我的 PPT 吗？因为我可能没有办法分享。
Fine. We share from our part.
Thank you.
Yeah,
maybe it's coming up. Sure.
Yeah, it's coming.
There we go. So thank you very much. Thanks for the introduction and the invite by DLG to speak at this webinar. My topic will be quite related to what Anna and Cord talked about. So that's it's in a good relation to that.
谢谢丽丽刚才介绍，也感谢德国农协邀请。 那我要讲的话题呢，和 Anna Cord 刚才介绍的内容十分的密切相关。
Next slide, please. First, I want to introduce myself a little bit. My name is, like they said, Snorri Sigurðsson. I'm the head of China-Denmark Milk Technology Cooperation Center. This is a joint venture between Arla Foods, the dairy company Arla Foods, which is operating in the northern part of Europe, has owners, farmers. It's a cooperative in 7 countries, and the local dairy company Mangniu here in China.
我首先做一下自我介绍，我的名字是 Snorri Sigurðsson，是中国丹麦乳品技术合作中心的负责人。那么这个中心呢是北欧的乳企爱氏和中国蒙牛成立的一个合资机构。那么爱氏呢是北欧的一个合作社，由来自7个国家的农场主等等构成。
Yeah, myself, I'm no, sorry, keep the first slide, please. Myself, I'm an expert in dairy farming management. I've been working in this business for over 20 years, and been here in China now for 3 years. And our job here in China is to broaden the know-how on milk production, import knowledge from Europe, actually from all over the world, to Chinese conditions, and especially focus on how we can reduce the production cost of milk in China, which is quite high.
我是从事这个奶牛养殖管理的，在这个行业我已经工作了有20多年的时间，那么我在中国工作有3年多的时间。我们成立这个中心的目的呢，就是要传播牛奶生产方面的专业知识，把欧洲以及全世界的先进的知识，带到中国来，并且根据中国的条件，具体情况加以这个调整，尤其是我们要降低中国的牛奶生产成本。
Thank you. Next slide.
下张。
So maybe my speech should have been before Anna's and Cord's, because I'm talking about the resistance, the problem with using too much antibiotics. This is a topic which is focused on all over the world today. So far in China, it's not that developed, this discussion, but it's coming. As we heard, they have prohibited use of antimicrobials in feed for chicken and poultry and pigs here. So it's coming, but it's not as far as in Europe.
我接下来呢会介绍一下抗菌素耐药性的相关内容。也许我的这个报告应该放在安娜他们之前，因为技术的问题比较多。那么抗生素耐药性呢，其实是全球关注的一个热点。在中国现在可能还没有那么热，但是相关的规定已经在不断的出台。之前也提到了，现在中国对于禽类以及这个生猪饲料中是禁止添加抗生素的。现在只是发展程度还没有赶上欧洲。
The main problem we are facing in China is the broad use of antibiotics in the dairy production, especially, of course, like Anna said, with mastitis treatment or dry common treatment. And we are seeing increasing use of medicine that is specially intended for multi-resistant bacteria. And that's a problem we are trying to tackle now on a broad basis.
在中国，现在一个主要问题就是，乳业生产中广泛使用抗生素。就像安娜之前所提到的，这个抗生素，主要是用来治疗乳房炎的。现在我们发现，兽药中抗生素的使用增加呢，会造成一些细菌产生耐药性。
Next slide, please.
下张，下一张。
There we go. So how do we get AMR bacteria? It basically develops over time. It's a normal development of bacteria to develop and evolve and be stronger and better. That's in their nature. That's normal. But we can enhance this process by using medicine in the wrong way.
抗药菌呢，其实是一个非常正常的发展过程，随着时间推移都会产生这个现象，这也是它们自身变得强大，要存活下去的一个内在的需求。但是如果我们药品使用不当的话，会加速或者是增强这个过程。
So we basically develop those bacteria by using too much medicine, especially on animals that do not need any treatment at all, like both of the previous speakers talked about. We can get it by using the wrong medicine on the wrong bacteria. We can also use too little of the medicine when we need medicine. So there are many different ways you can create AMR bacteria. And the solution to all this is more know-how and better skills.
产生耐药菌有多种方式，一种呢就是过多的使用药品，尤其是对于完全不需要治疗的动物也给它用药。第二个呢就是把这个错误的药用在错误的细菌身上。第三种呢就是在需要用药的时候用药不足。解决这个问题的方法呢，就是要掌握专业的知识和技能。
Next slide, please.
下章。
Here in China, it's quite easy, or it's not easy, but the access to medicine is quite good. And even though most of the treatments are medicine treatments are for mastitis, we are seeing medicine use, antimicrobials in young stock for diarrhea, for pneumonia, or something like that. We see it in lameness problems. We see it used for fertility problems like metritis or retained placenta and so on, which is quite common. And of course, in the mastitis, which is the big user of antibiotics.
在中国，要获取抗生素药品呢是相对容易的，主要是用于治疗乳房炎，但是还有很多其他的使用方向，比如说在青年牛身上用于治疗肺炎和腹泻，还有用于治疗跛行、生育问题，比如说子宫炎，还有胎衣无下，另外呢还有乳房炎，这个是一个比较主要的用药方向。
Next PPT, please.
下章。
This picture is a very interesting one. It basically is showing, well, it's a little bit exaggerated because China is big. And of course, when you have a lot of people and a lot of production of animals and food, you have higher use of antimicrobial products. But it puts in perspective why we are focusing so much now in China on the use of antibiotics. Because it is a big producer of food for people, and it's a serious thing. And we can also see on the lower picture how different it can be between countries, the usage of antibiotics.
这张左边的这个图呢，可能有一些夸大了，因为对于像中国这样一个人口众多并且畜牧生产规模庞大的国家来说，自然也就意味着它的抗生素的用量呢会更高一些。但是它也给我们展示出了为什么现在我们这么关注中国抗生素使用的这个问题，因为中国是一个非常大的这个食物粮食生产国。抗生素使用也变成了一个非常严峻的话题。下面的这张图呢，展示了各国之间抗生素用量方面的不同的情况。
Next slide, please. So this picture is actually a little bit old. It's from 2016. I have actually just this morning got newer numbers from 2018, and they show a little bit different picture. But anyway, this is we were benchmarking the use of antibiotics in Denmark to the USA, to the United States. And this is corrected for a number of heads. So this is basically the usage per animal. And there you can see it's 5 times less in Denmark than in the USA. And the new number for 2018 show it's 7.5 times less in Denmark than in the USA.
这张图上显示的数据比较老了，是2016年。今天早上我其实拿到了18年的新数据，有些许的不同。我们是把这个丹麦抗生素用量的情况与美国进行比较。那这里是其实是每个牛只身上的用量这个单位要纠正一下。这个旧的数据呢是丹麦比美国少5倍，但18年最新的情况呢是抗生素用量丹麦比美国少7.5倍。
Next slide, please. So how to do it? We have to use as little as possible of the medicine, but as much as necessary. This is a golden rule that is very important to remember. Use as little as possible, but as much as necessary. This means that when we have a sick animal, we need to treat that animal with antibiotics and use the proper dosage. But try to do it in a careful way, like Anna talked about before with selective dry cow therapy, one part of it.
在使用抗生素的时候，黄金原则就是要尽可能少的使用，并且在有必要的时候足量的使用。也就是说，当出现了这个有患病的这个动物的时候呢，要对它进行抗生素治疗，并且用量要恰当，而且要谨慎。像安娜之前提的，进行选择性的干奶牛治疗就是其中的一个例子。
Next slide, please. So what we are training our farmers in doing, and when I say our farmers, that's the farmers selling milk to the dairy company Magnio. These farms are quite big. They have close to 1,000 cows average, and the cell count is quite good. Somewhere between 120 and 150 is very common. Very few farms are lying close to 200, but that's basically not a big problem for us anymore. So these are big farms, about 600 of them. And what we are trying to get them to do is to stop using antibiotics in healthy animals and use it instead of only on animals that need treatment.
我们是如何培训奶农的呢？那这里我所说的奶农指的是向蒙牛出售奶源的奶农。那这些奶农他们的农场通常数量规模都比较大，平均是1000头的规模。他们的这个体细胞数量总体来说还是比较令人满意的，通常在120到150之间。那么可能有少数会超出这个范围，但对我们来说问题不大。我们是要让他们停止在健康的动物身上使用抗生素，只对患病动物进行治疗。
The main success of this is good management, and by good management, there could be many different things when we talk about management. But basically, we are removing the need for the medicine from the picture, and we can also put it like I said, there, prevent the fire instead of putting out the fire. So it's two different methods.
现在我们还是比较成功的做到了良好管理，而且管理呢其实是多方面的，我们其实就是想要实现一个预防重于治疗的这么一个目的，就像图上展示的，重在防火。
So if you put on next slide, please. Yeah, basically. This is the 7-point plan, which is an international plan, quite well known all over the world. And it's about how to reduce the use you need for medicine on a farm. And it's about prevention, avoid the usage, inappropriate use, choose the right drug for the right bug, monitor antimicrobial sensitivity, make sure the bacteria is not resistant. Of course, use it carefully. Have control of the recording and make sure that you are using the right protocols. This is like the 7-point plan, and this works all over the world.
这张幻灯显示的是7点国际通行的一个计划，这也是大家所熟知的，都是为了减少奶牛场的抗生素用量，主要是包括预防避免不当使用、对症下药、监控这个抗菌素敏感度，并且是谨慎使用，对于这个用量进行记录存档。
Next slide, please. I personally like also the 6R system, which is also quite good because it's simple to use. It's easy to remember because it's about the right diagnostics, treat the right animal with the right medicine, use the right dosage for the right duration, and then of course the right disposal of possible milk or meat.
这张图上显示的6R原则也是我非常推崇的，因为它也好用好记。它的内容是正确的兽医诊断、对症下药、正确的药物、正确剂量、正确服药期、正确休药。那么当然还有就是对牛奶和这个肉进行正确的处理。
Next slide, please. So when it comes to mastitis, it was talked about that before, how important the right milking process is, and I totally agree on that. And then we need to have milk recordings and samplings, and this is something that is lacking almost all over China. Quite few farms are using a DHA system compared to European standards, where we have usually 80, 90, or over 90% of the farms using a DHI system. So this is not at all the case in China, and this is one of the important things to do when you want to monitor the quality of the milk, quality of the teat. Of course, you need to have a good maintenance of the milking system, and of course, proper cleaning of the environment, like you talked about before, about the cubicles, but also the milking machine.
关于乳房炎呢，正确的挤奶流程，前面演讲人也提到了，我完全赞同他们的意见。我们要对这个牛奶进行记录以及取样，这个在中国还是相对来说比较缺乏的，可能只有5到6家牛场对照欧洲的标准来进行这个相关的工作，而在欧洲呢，可能80%、90%都有相关的这个记录和采样的工作。这个对于监测牛奶的质量以及乳头的这个健康都是非常重要的。另外呢，就是要测试维护挤奶机器，并且正确的清洁挤奶机，保持一个良好的环境。
So I think you can jump over this one because Anne talked about selective cow therapy. So you can just go to the next slide, please.
我们可以跳过这张幻灯片，因为 Anna 已经讲了选择式干奶治疗。
This is the last one I wanted to talk about here with you today and this is, we are seeing a lot of use of 3rd and 4th generation medicine, which is specially designed antibiotics or antimicrobials for bacteria which is resistant. But when we see this high use of this all over the farms for no understandable reason, that's not a good thing. And this is something we are especially focusing on now, trying to reduce the use of these types of medicine.
我们发现现在农场大量的使用第3代、第4代的这个抗生素，用于治疗那些那个耐药菌。我们认为这种没有正当理由的大量的使用是问题非常严重的，这也是我们关注的一个热点。
These medicine types is something we need for the future to preserve for future battles with bacteria. We are not there yet. Today we can easily use just normal penicillin for most of the bacteria infections we are fighting. So using these medicine types is like using a big cannon to try to hunt a small bird. It's what we call overkilling, and that's something we need to stop.
之前提到的第3、第4代药物其实是用于应付未来和细菌之间的艰巨的战争了，但是我们还没有到达如此的境地。现在一些普通的感染使用普通的抗菌药剂可以，那么利用第3和第4代抗菌药呢，就好像是杀鸡用牛刀一样。
And the last slide, please. And this is especially for our Chinese audience. If you want to connect with us, need some assistance or advice on something, you can connect to our WeChat page or send email to me or one of my colleagues, Mr. Mr. Sangnan is there with also can answer in Chinese, so feel free.
这张图片上有我们的联系方式，中国的观众如果有问题，可以分别以2种语言咨询我们，我们可以相应的回答。
Thank you very much. 谢谢。
谢谢。
Thank you, Snorri. Thank you, Snorri. And good to see you here and share your experience. And I think to talk about antibiotics in dairy sector, we are the first seminar in China talk about it. And thank you very much. I think here there's a question from Germany. The question is, what kind of antibiotics is forbidden in China? Actually, I can answer this question. Yes. It's from Ministry of Rural Affairs and Agriculture in the document 114. It's mentioned saying there's a group of antibiotic which is about more than 100 kinds of drug are forbidden to use as additives, and not on the diseases measurement, but for the feeding additives, this will be forbidden. So this is to answer question from Germany. And you're welcome to connect Snorri regarding any technical question. And I don't see the question from.
There's a question there. From,
there is. Yeah, there's coming one.
I can see how to use feed additives to support reduce antibiotics. Yeah, this is something we are focusing on, and this is something we see done all over the world. All kinds of tests and trials are done, are being executed as we speak. We're also doing it here in China with some different additives to reduce this. I think it's perfect. If we find a good help instead of using antibiotics, I welcome it, of course, because we have to find a way to reduce it, reduce the need for medicine. So of course, that's if you find something that works, I welcome it with all my heart, and we all should.
我来翻译一下这个德国提出的问题，就是中国禁用哪些抗生素？丽丽回答，根据农业农村部发布的第114号文件，有超过100种药物是禁止被用作饲料添加剂的，但是用于治疗疾病的这个不算。那么关于这个使用添加剂来减抗的这个问题，其实全世界都在做很多的相关试验，中国也有相关的试验，用不同的添加剂来测试它们的效果。Snorri 认为，只要能够减少抗生素的使用，都是非常值得欢迎的。
Yeah, actually, this is a question in China now, and we also invited many China feeding company and even from abroad to attend the coming September Eurocare China in Chengdu, and we were many Chinese feeding company were presenting their alternative product for the feeding health, including from the all kinds of group of technology for the feeding, and also I would like to share you about German government is supporting the German company to go abroad, especially to come to China. With the German pavilion in coming Eurocare China to encourage the German company in the Chinese market, because as our first in globally the first recovery economy to come into the exhibition and to presenting their technology. 在这里呢，我也要跟大家说一下，就是关于这个减抗替抗的很多技术呢。我们在成都也有很多的中国的添加剂企业会参加，甚至包括这个德国政府也是这个从官方的财政支持，已经鼓励德国企业通过德国农业部的官方展团参加我们的在成都举办的 Eurocare China 2020的展会，来鼓励在德国企业加入中国率先复苏的经济， 甚至鼓励通过代理来参加这个活动，将这个德国的技术，包括像德国的萨诺这样的企业，都会来展示他们的减抗提抗的新方案。Yeah, so this is to share information about the feed. And I think many of you are interested with the Chinese dairy market. China still importing, of course, we have a big quantity of dairy production, but China importing 13% of our demand from global market. And today we are very glad to get our very famous speaker from China, Mr. Liu Changquan. He is from China Rural Economic Institute and from China Social Academy. He is a researcher especially based on the economy, rural economy, and he will introduce you the China dairy market and demands. 首先非常感谢咱们社科院农村发展研究所的刘长全副主任。刘主任，您有请。
好。Hi everyone, I'm very glad to join this webinar, and as requested by our organizer, I will present you a short brief introduction on the development of the dairy sector in China in 10 to 15 minutes. Next slide please, thank you. As you can see from the figure that in the last 10 years that we have experienced very slow growth of the dairy production in China. But we see in 2019, we produced 32 million tons of raw milk, cow milk, and actually we increased 4.1%, and it's the biggest increase since 2014. And we produced 27 dairy.2 million of dry products. And next slide, please. Can you hear me? Next. Yes, thank you. And we can see from the in this slide to see that the animal husband 25.3%. And the milk production in animals only a little bit higher than 1%. And for milk processing, in the food processing account for 13.7% and only 0.3% in the home manufacture. So that's what we can see, that the dairy sector in national economy is actually very low. And next slide, please.
Shall I translate? 我要翻译一下吗？
Yeah, please. Thank you. Sorry, I'm sorry. Yeah. I can't hear.
刘老师，这样，那个您因为大部分人都能听得懂那个英文的，因为80%是海外的观众，中国的我看了一下，中国观众很多也能够听得懂，您中文您大概一说就好啊。对。
Okay. So in terms of economy, that dairy sector is not that important in China, but in terms of trade, we can see from this picture that in the last 10 years old, that the dairy sector has increased quickly. In 2019, all dairy products we import here, I made a mistake, 2.97 million tons of all dairy products, and increased 12.8% compared to now in 2018. And during 2008 to 2019, we have a compound average growth rate very high. For dry products, we increased 9.9% annually, and for liquid milk, we have a 55.8% growth rate annually. that's a really very high growth speed. And the next slide, please. And here we have a comparison of the growth rate between dairy products and with other agricultural products. During 2010 to 2018, that all agricultural products has grown a 6.4% annually in terms of value, and dairy products grew 20.2% annually, and was the highest among all agricultural products. And the figure was about the trade deficit. We can see that in 2018, for China, we have $60.5 billion trade deficit, and the dairy products was 9.8 billion. So therefore, dairy products we accounted for almost 1/6 of all the trade deficits, compared to the small proportion of dairy sector in the whole economy. That the importance of dairy sector is very large. So the next slide, please. Here is a comparison between of dairy sector with other animal products. In all 21.6 billion trade deficit of animal products, that dairy products account for almost almost half of all the trade deficits of the animal products. So the next slide. Next slide, please. Thank you. So the comparison between the small proportion of dairy sector in the national economy and the big proportion of dairy import of dairy products in the whole agricultural import, it shows that increasing gap between the demand and the domestic production in China of China. In during 2008 to 2019, that we mainly rely on imported products to meet the increasing demand. For the total demand for dairy products, we increased 70.4 million tons in terms of raw milk, and the net import increased 15.5 million. That's to say that the import increase of the net import in the increase of total demand account for 18.9%. So as we can see that in 2019 that the self-sufficiency of the dairy sector in China has been decreasing. In 2019, it was 65.3%. And as we can see that the highest point in 2007, it was 95%. And the plan objective for the 2020 set by the government was 70%. So the self-sufficiency rate now is much lower than that of the government objective. So next slide, please. Thank you. So the demand for the dairy products in China is still increasing. As we can see from this figure, that the per capita consumption of dairy products is positively correlated with the per capita income. And we can see that the per capita consumption of dairy products is much higher in the Eastern Asian countries like Japan, France, Korea, and China, with those United States or European countries. But China is closely follow the pattern, the growth pattern of the Japan and Korea. We made a very brief prediction on the demand in 2025 and 2030. We can see that in 2025, that the estimated total demand for dairy products could be 67 million tons. And compared to 2019, we will increase 70 million tons of, at least 70 million tons of milk demand. And by 2030, that the estimated total demand could be would be over 82 million tons, and increase will be compared to 2019 would be over 32 million tons. It's a really very big increase. And this increase, I think, is an opportunity for the dairy sector in China and also for other dairy products exporter. But it also could be a challenge because we move to the next slide, please. Thank you. The question is, who will meet or who can meet the increasing demand of China? If the sum of the net exporter of dairy products as in a global world as the global tradable volume from 2010 to 2018, that the global tradable volume increased 24.4 million tons. And of all the 24.4 million, 12.9 million has been exported to China. It accounts for 52.8 million, 52.8%. And among the 12.9 million tons, 5.6 million was from the New Zealand, account for 43%, 43.2%. And the 5.6 million increase of export account for the 65.3% of the increase of export of New Zealand during the period. And 1 point of all the increased import amount, the 12.9 million, 1.5 million was from the United States, account for 11.7%, and Netherlands was the third place that we imported 1.4 extra million tons of milk from the Netherlands, all in terms of raw milk. So actually, that if we have other 32 million or 17 million tons of, we need extra 17 million tons or 30 million tons of milk, can the New Zealand or these European countries can meet our demand and also keep the sustainability and or other this kind of to cut down this kind, just with the topic of this conference, the antibiotics. So I think that in the next 5 to 10 years, how to meet the increase of the demand in China, both the domestic, we have to keep certain, somehow we have to keep objective of self-sufficiency, and also those main exporter, I'm not sure if they have the capacity to increase their demand, their production to meet our demand. That's the question that I have. So that's all. That's what my introduction. Thank you. Thanks for your attention.
谢谢刘主任，谢谢。Thank you for everyone, and I think now it's coming to our discussion session. You are warmly welcome for any question, and may I ask everyone, you are invited to open your video, and because we see many friends here. We see Mr. Ferdinand Schmid. We see Helen from German Masteren, and so also I see my colleague from Frankfurt, and also we have our Indian partner, our Indian participants, Mr. Ananda, now as a leading dairy producing country. So you are invited to open your video and to ask question. And Snorri, we have one question here from Humboldt University. Snorri, are you still there?
Yes, I am.
Yeah, there's a question to you is, did you see any major advantage or disadvantage that the large dairy farm are separated from their own feed production?
Yeah, I already replied. I already replied on this by writing, but I can come into this. When we talk about farm sizes here in China, we usually categorize them in 4 groups. Small, which is less than 1,000 cows. I know it sounds strange for the rest of the world, but this is the situation we have in China. We have 1,000 to 3,000 cows, 3 to 5, and then what we call mega farms, bigger than 5,000 cows. And we have several of them, and there are more and more coming. What we are seeing is, I don't see any, we have not seen any benefit of the feed production being in a different place from the farm itself, but we see the benefit of a bigger farm operation because they are more professional, more skilled, so they have more possibilities to have a good biosecurity, good protocol, and therefore a lower use of medicine.
Yeah. Config?
需要翻译吗？
翻译一下吧。
问题是在这个大的奶牛场将他们的饲料生产分隔开来，您认为这样的做法有什么优势或者是劣势？那么答案是针对中国的这个大的奶牛场呢，现在我们把它们分成了4个类别，小的那一类呢是1000头以下的。我知道这对于世界其他国家来说可能有点奇怪，但是中国的国情就是如此。我们按照1000、2000、3000，5000头以上的是这个超大型的牛场，分别分成了4种类别。我们现在呢还没有发现把这个饲料生产和奶牛养殖分开有什么样的好处，但是我们认为，大规模奶牛场他们这个操作本身是非常好的，因为他们更专业，技能更强。而且可以保持更高的生物安全水平，更完善的操作流程，降低药物的用量。
Yeah,谢谢。Thank you. Yes, among the world top 10 dairy producer, I think China account 5. Yeah, on the global top 10 milk producer. Yeah. Yeah, and also, if anyone would like to ask question, you feel free to open your turn on your video. Actually, I also like to inform you that today our webinar is co-organized by the China Dairy Magazine. This is China top magazine on the dairy sector. And after this webinar, DRG and the China Dairy Magazine, we will also have the Eurity China Dairy Conference on site in Chengdu. As you know that China has already restarted exhibition business. The first exhibition already held in Changsha with automobile, and the Chengdu, where Eurity China will be, the first show in Chengdu already organized in the end of May, 29th May. The first exhibitions already took place. And DRG, and we are invited by Chengdu City that Eurity China will be on time in September, in coming September. And DRG, with cooperation with China Dairy Magazine, we will have the next conference as we did last year in Qingdao, and we'll have 2 topics. And today in the meeting room here, we also have our partner from the Dairy Magazine. And we will have 2 topics in the coming September Dairy Conference. One, we will focus again on the dairy production. As you all know that in China, due to our demand of the milk production, there's a lot of government funding and granted for the new farm building up, especially you see on the near feeding production area in the western, east-western part of China in the Qilian region, and where produce alfalfa and which have big plateau, a lot of new dairy farm is setting up. So we were also talking about the new farm building up, and also the China Dairy Magazine has launched this new project on the sheep. And we have special session on the sheep milk production, and sooner after next week we will have the first release of the sheep conference, sheep milk conference. So you are very much welcome to contact us and join the dairy conference. And of course, you are welcome to come into Chengdu. Of course, this is a pig production region, and we have a lot of pig company, especially with equipment producer are coming. And yeah, you might see that after China have a big loss of pig, we have 150 million pig was lost during African swine fever, and now we are rebuilding the protein production. So also the healthy and the milk is part of the government action. And so you're welcome to contact us. And now we see that we have one more question. Do you think? Yeah, we have one question from China. Is he asking any of experts can explain the from the animal welfare, and can we ask this person from China, can you be specific talking about what do you mean on the, can you more specifically clear your question about what animal welfare? Do you think of anti-synchronization and animal welfare? Maybe I ask Sven to answer the question. Sven, are you there?
Yeah. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
I think it's not so easy to answer to that question.
Yeah.
If you have an off-sync program in your farm, that have nothing really to do with animal welfare, because this is more a management system and to get the cow in heat, and it's not against animal welfare in my opinion. So it's a normal strategy. If you have a cow and you have the first heat or the second heat, and you're starting with 60 days maybe with insemination, and after 21 days there is no heat from that cow, so you will use an off-sync program. So I think this has nothing to do with animal welfare. It's a normal management system in reproduction. Animal welfare for themselves, I think it's very important for dairy production today, because this is the base of the cow's productivity and is efficient. If they have good animal welfare, this you will see in economics, because this cow is working more efficient and will produce in a better way. And if you have less cow comfort, or how you will to say, the cow will not show her potential in production. So I think very interesting area. And what we see is in Europe we have more discussion about, and from the society around, and more emotional discussions about animal welfare. And in China what we see, it's really looking to productivity and how is the cow more efficient. If we give them more animal welfare, more cow comfort, so the cow will be more efficient. Okay.
这个问题在哪儿？
不客气。
这个问题是关于动物福利的，那么 Swan 表示这个问题不容易回答， 因为这个发情，它其实更多是一个管理方面的问题，和动物福利的关系不太大。这只是一个正常的一个农场运行的一个策略。关于第一次发情、第二次发情，还有这个60天人工受精，还有这个发情缓慢等等，这些问题都是繁殖方面的问题，和动物福利关系不太大。但是动物福利呢，对于这个乳业生产是非常重要的一个话题，因为它是这个保证生产效率的基础。从经济因素方面考虑，能够为我们带来更高的效益，而且也能够确保奶牛的这个生产潜力。在欧洲呢，我们探讨动物福利话题的时候，更多是从感情角度去讨论，而中国呢，完全是从生产力、从效率方面来探讨这个牛只的舒适程度等等。
Okay, good. And we have one next question. Where is it? Did you see the next question?
There was a question there about milk production in China.
Yeah, I think we 刘老师可能要请您来回答这个问题，就是中国关于这个我们中国的奶牛的产量，平均的产量。刘老师，你还在吗？喂，刘老师，刘老师。Miss Liu has some internet problem, I think. He will come back later. There's another question from Indian. Can we ask the Indian participants to turn on your video? As we know that India have a very special country policy to incentives the milk production, which is quickly taking up a very leading global roles in the dairy production. Mr. Ananda?
Yes, Ananda, you're right.
Yes, yeah, nice to meet you here. Can you give us some explain about a briefing about Indian dairy production, and then you have your questions. Yes.
Yeah, sure.
Thank you very much.
Indian dairy system right now is more following towards the cooperatives, where we use the cooperative model of system where dairy farmers collect milk together and they process it, and there are cooperative units which process those milk and supply them to the world and to the rest of the country. So to be precise, it is more like 80-20, where 80% of our dairy farming is through this model and 20% is through direct dairy farming, where direct large integrators are there and who supply the milk. And this is in brief about the cooperative system, I can say.
Yeah, we also see that your government provides credit financing support to each farmer. Can you also introduce us about this program, which sounds very interesting and effective?
Sure. I'm not an expert in this, but I can share some insight on it. Basically, the government provides subsidies for the farmers who are interested to start dairy farming activity. And they are more towards small farmers who own, say, 3 cows, 4 cows, and they'll be tied together with a local cooperative who are more taking care about the farmers' welfare and the animal welfare by providing them with the managemental support, and they'll be providing them the crossbreeding policy services, where they generally the breeds used are Holsteins and Jersey to improve the overall production percentage. And also they'll be provided with the fodders, and they'll be trained to grow the fodders as well. Since agriculture here is more livestock plus farming, so they'll be allotting a part of their agriculture farm for dairy crop production. So this model was very successful, and people can get the fodder supply through their own farms without paying much outside.
需要翻译一下吗？
Yes, Van. Yeah, 翻译一下啊，对。
印度的这个奶业相关情况，那么印度呢是有一个合作社体系，奶农呢他们把自己生产的牛奶这个收集起来送到合作社那里进行加工，然后再由合作社向印度国内以及全世界进行供应。印度的奶业生产呢是80比20，其中80%都是以上合作社体系，还有20%呢是由大型的乳企进行生产供应。另外呢，就是印度政府还有对奶农的一个信贷支持计划。那么是向每一个对于乳业生产感兴趣的奶农提供补贴。那么这些补贴对象通常是3到4头奶牛的这个小奶农。政府会把他们这个和一个当地的合作社绑定起来，合作社呢会给他们提供动物福利啊，还有管理方面的支持，以及杂交育种方面的支持，并且会给他们供应饲料，而且会培训这些奶农自己生产这个饲草。这个由于国内很多都是小型的生产者，所以这个模式非常的成功，奶农可以自己生产饲草，而不需要过多的去购买。
Yeah, I think it's amazing that with a small-scaled dairy farmer with 4, 5, 6 cows, and Indian become a leading dairy producer. What do you think about this, Sven? What do you think about this model? And yeah, India looks very successful for booming the dairy production.
Yes, I believe it's interesting because I believe it's the strong dairy family-size dairy farms. So they are very strong, and I think that they will have a chance for growing. I think that the future is not with 10 cows, but I believe if you have a starting point and the farmers are growing, so I think this is a good situation for them. I never was in India, but a few years ago, I was in Vietnam, and I see the same situation. You see a lot of farms, smaller farms, starting with 5 dairy cows, and then have a community bringing their cows together, or you have some farmers who are growing. And I think that this family size or family organized owned farms have a very good condition, and they could be very strong also. Avoid more crisis than the bigger farms. The bigger farms have the advantage that they could be in the first step more economic because they can buy easier and cheaper, and also they have a good situation in disease control and hygienic. But for the smaller ones, I think it's a good situation. And so I think for India, they will have a good future. Okay?
Yeah, I think so. I already see that India has become a very big, the second market after American. Yeah. Next, I would like to invite our attendee, Yang Xingsheng, Mr. Yang from Sichuan Dairy Association. 杨秘书长您好。
你好，哎。
你好 ，Yeah. Miss Yang is from Sichuan Dairy Association. 杨秘书长，您能给我们介绍一下，就是这个虽然四川不是一个四川最近在这个不是一个原本不是一个大省，但是我们看到西南地区的这个发展还是很有前景的。您能给我们做一个介绍吗？关于西南的情况？
没有准备啊，你跟我说啊。简单说2句吧。你翻一下啊。那个四川省呢，应该说是一个乳制品消费的一个大省，因为在全国这个各个省的话，它的人口这个数量呢是排在第2位的，另外购买力呢也比较强啊，这是 消费省的。第二，但是作为可能四川省，它这个养牛的数量呢相对要少一些啊。那么这个大约我们现在养牛也就是大约是8万头左右哈，8万头左右。那么要跟北方地区的比呢，它这个就是那些大的规模化的牧场比呢，就是我们这边的规模相应的要小一些，也就是我们的多数的牧场的规模大概可能是在几百头或者是1000头啊，大型的规模也有这个有3000的啊，也有3000头的，这主要是与我们的这个土地有关系啊。
Okay, a brief introduction about a dairy sector in Sichuan province of China. Firstly, it's a large dairy consumer. Nationwide, Sichuan province has the second largest population and very good purchasing power among its consumers. Secondly, Sichuan province has a small herd size of dairy cows, around 80,000. The dairy farms here are smaller than those in North China, especially the large integrators. The farms here have a herd size of about hundreds or 1,000, and we also have larger ones with 3,000 dairy cows. And such situation is closely related to the land situation here in Sichuan province.
但是这个您欢迎您继续。关于水牛啊这块，四川其实也不少吧，包括周边地区。
那么四川可能从这个奶牛的数量可能不是特别多，但是我们会有南方的这个一些特点，就是比如说我们有牦牛啊，我们会有100头的牦牛啊，当然也有一部分的水牛啊，就是水牛，但是羊啊也有绵奶产奶羊啊，也有一些，所以这个呢是和北方不同，就是它的这个牦牛、水牛的这种特种啊，这个产奶牛会这个有一些啊，那么我们这个四川的话，可能就是我们也现在也可能会和北方比呢，我们会存在一些，比如说这个温度比较高、比较潮湿，它会热应激比较严重啊。这样的话，这是一个问题。第二个呢，可能我们的距离远一些，可能就是我们的饲草饲料啊，特别是青储，可能质量我们会这个成本会高一些。所以说呢，我们这个也在不断的学习吧。学习国内外的一些新的一些技术啊，我觉得来降低我们的饲草成本，以及我们的这个生产成本啊，提高牛奶这个质量，所以还是这个需要我们国内外的一些先进的技术啊，一些这个信息啊，共同发展嘛。所以我们这个也欢迎我们这个各位朋友啊来四川交流啊指导啊，跟奶业合作还是有很多方面的机会啊。我就先说到这，好吧？
好，谢谢。
Sichuan province has a small number of dairy cows, but we have yaks, buffaloes, and milk sheep. The constraints here for dairy production are high temperature, so you can imagine heat stress and also humidity, a long distance. So it's not very convenient for the transportation of fodder and silage, thus higher cost. To maintain a good quality of fodder. We are learning from other provinces and other countries for new technologies to lower the cost of fodder and to improve its quality. We are still in need of more technologies and information, so friends are welcome to contribute your inputs and exploit market opportunities here.
杨秘书长，我们跟那个中国乳业董事长那边9月份去你们那边开会，所以呢，估计你也知道这个事情了，所以我们很快会在成都见，谢谢。Yeah, so we will come to Chengdu with China Dairy magazine to the dairy conference incoming in Sichuan. So all of you are warmly welcomed again, and we will meet Mr. Yang there for sure. 接下来谢谢杨秘书长，再次感谢。接下来呢，我们有请Miss Edward。Miss Edward from England. And Miss Edward, we see your blue sky. Yeah, we see your blue sky. And I know you're from a feeding additive company. Can you share us about some of your experience in England now? And do you have any business in Asia, in China? And yeah, just share your view with us.
Thank you. Sorry, my screen is here, but I'll move across here so I'm looking you in the eye. First, just to point out, I'm originally from Great Britain, so I can tell you a little bit about what's going on there, but I'm actually now based in the Netherlands, and it's a Dutch feed company that I work for. So our company is called Palatal Feed Additives, and we have a range of products. The two main ones which are of interest to this meeting are our butyrates and our slow release urea products. In terms of these products, the Victuria, our slow release urea product, is marketed globally, so it's in Asia, and if you're interested in that, please feel to drop me a line or visit our website, Palatal, or whatever it is, Palatal, just go search us. We have a product that's really interesting from a butyrate perspective, because butyrate is widely used for monogastrics, but not so much for mature ruminants. So the calf also effectively being a monogastric to begin with. So we have I was very interested to hear about the antibiotic usage really being driven by mastitis linked situations, because there's also a big challenge we feel as a company for the animal during the transition period. And there's a lot of health and problems that arise then. So we've actually got a product on the market that's being developed to resolve some of those challenges, and we're getting really good results with that so far. So it's a product called Rumen Ready. It's very unique in the butyrate industry as well, because it's a magnesium butyrate, and that also helps the animal because it prevents less of a challenge on the calcium requirements.
Yeah.
I can tell you about Corona too, but I'm not sure if that's something everybody wants to hear just now.
康威需要翻译一下。
抱歉，我本人是英国人，但是我其实是为一家荷兰饲料公司工作。我们的一些主要产品呢，包括这个本次会议参会者可能感兴趣的产品，可能是这些缓释尿素，还有其他的一些相关产品。我不确定在亚洲市场上有没有，如果大家感兴趣，可以去我们的网站，或者是跟我本人私下联系。我们现在产品还没有针对这个成年反刍动物的，但是呢，因为过渡期出现了很多的问题和挑战，我们也在相应的推出产品。有一个产品呢叫做 Ruminant Ready， 是这个针对反刍动物的。
So I just put in the chat the website address if you want to find out more about us and our products.
Yeah, I hope sometime to see you in China and to show your product to the market. Yeah, and rumen, especially with rumen feeding, it's a growing market now here. Yeah.
Yes, I understand that, particularly from this webinar. Thank you. It's been very insightful.
Thank you for joining us as well. And when we're talking about the young animal, especially with calf, and today we also have participants from a German company, Hohenlohe, and who is producing the calf feeding machine. 孟夫，你在线吗？刘孟夫在线吗？刘孟夫在不在？看， 你给刘梦你给刘梦夫说一声，让他打开那个摄像头。Yeah, Hamelon is maybe we would like to invite him to share some experience of their calf feeding machine who has entered China since 2 years before, and yeah, and Miss Liu is also one of our trainee for the Sino-German program. Miss Liu Mengfu, are you there? 打个电话给刘孟夫可以吗？对 ，and we also have Snorri. Yeah. Anna, do you have any question? Anna or Saskia, do you have any question?
Actually, from my side, I'm absolutely, again, overwhelmed with all the information as being a non-agriculture specialist. And again, I have to thank you all our speakers sharing all this really detailed insights with us and giving sharing the experience. I found it super interesting what Sven and Snorri are learning and learned in China. And especially then seeing what Anna and Cord were presenting, even you think it's it's one and the same business, it's still so different. That's always interesting for me to see, even if you think about both countries are very developed, how we do it and what is done, and why there are so many differences. So for me, it was really inspiring. Thank you very much again for your time.
Especially, I think here we have Mr. Bert Mela, and I think he's waiting for his visa to China. And yeah, Mr. Mela, maybe you can introduce your product. I think Mela is he's a Danish based in Malaysia, right? Am I right?
That's correct. Can you hear me?
Yes. Yes. Maybe you can introduce your product, and we hope to see you soon. And I think even if you cannot come personally, you can, as the German pavilion did, you can ask maybe authorize your dealer and to be here, as the market in China is really open and a new farm is building. So maybe you can share us with some of your products, the introduction to us.
Actually, last year I already trained Saskia, so maybe she can do it for me. We have a product made in Denmark that's made very much for dairy farms, for controlling the bacteria and the pathogen levels in free stalls, in young calves areas, and in birth areas and things like that. And we do sell it in China already, also to dairy sector. But we would like to sell more, and I hope we will be in Chengdu and also in a couple of other places in September, if your government will allow us to come in. So please help with that.
I think you had a good contact last year, and anyway, I think we are preparing everything as you said. If you cannot come personally, and we can handle your stands with your dealer. This will be the best way. I hope you're not missing the Chinese market. Although stay at home, but we hope business can still going on. Yeah. Yeah, also from our Indian friends, you can also think about. Yeah, and here we have our one Chinese friends. Yeah, Sven, do you have any other question, or Snorri, do you have any other question?
No, no question from my side. No.
Okay.
Not from me. Thank you.
Thank you. 刘孟夫那边好了吗？可以了吗？ 我们这有个来自这个中国添加剂企业的周玉火，周先生，您在线吗？您告诉我这个是谁？喂。And we see our friends, Ferdinand. Mr. Fedi, are you there? I see our friends Ferdinand Schmidt. Mr. Schmidt, are you there?
Yeah, I'm
Can
still
you hear
here.
me?
Nice to hear you.
Yeah. Yes, I see you there. Yeah, you're welcome. Good to see you here.
Yeah, I'm still in Bonn. Unfortunately, it's not possible to join you in Beijing right now, but it's good to have these opportunities by video channels at the moment.
Yeah, in fact, yeah, we expected to see you, huh? and in China this year, but we hope that very soon you come back.
No, that's fine. No, I was really interested in listening this opportunity, and I think there were some really interesting remarks where the dairy sector is moving forward in China. And I think it is interesting to see that there is a very good prospect for the dairy sector. There is demand. I think it depends a lot on prices. And I think I understand, Snorri, that in your speech you mentioned that, of course, also the question of, well, milk prices and cost reduction in milk production has to go along with better production systems, higher traceability systems, and less use of antibiotics. I think this is demanding to bring this in one picture of the farms in the future. That means higher production standards, higher demands for quality and traceability and safety, hygiene on one side, and on the other side, to come along with not increasing prices, at least. Maybe they will even get less, but this is something what is not easy to predict for China in the next couple of years. I don't know, Snorri, how do you see that? How do you expect the price development for raw milk in China in the next years?
Well, as we heard from the last speaker about the development, there is a huge increase in demand on dairy products here. So even though if we are building new farms, we cannot almost keep up with demand increase. So that's why this is one of the reasons we are seeing quite high milk prices in China, especially for industrialized farms, big farms, 10, 20, 15, 20,000 cows in one place, and they are getting quite lucrative milk prices for the time being. And the main reason is simply there is such a big, what's it called? They are fighting for the milk, the dairy companies here. So I think that will continue in the years to come. So even if we have more import of dairy products to China, I don't see that that will influence in that degree the milk prices here. They will probably go a little bit down because they are strangely high if you look at the cost of milk production here. So it's quite good if you know what you're doing to make profit out of milk production in China. So I think the milk prices will go down, but we will not see them drop. I don't see that. I think they will continue to be quite high. I think they will. These customers will be quite good for the companies producing all kinds of things because they have a big pocket with some cash in it. This is what I see in the near future. We are seeing in China a huge change in the atmosphere. When we entered China in 2012, the average farms were small. The cows were not that good. The farm management was questionable, and so on. But now it's a totally different situation. Very professional situation, and in many things, much more professional than we see in European farms, basically. So we have shifted from quite bad situation to quite good in only 10 years.
But
Yeah.
one question, Snorri, but what do you believe is the situation, what is the optimum farm size? We are talking about farms with 20,000 dairy cows, and also what is the optimum size, and also what is the economic, because we have no analyzing of the data, what is an economic farm in China, and how could they manage their farm, and how they can improve them to economic one. And what I believe in many farms, they are not really economic. So what do you believe is a way for the Chinese farms, what they should do for the future time now?
What we see here, we have had a special project focusing on this actually in 2018 and 2019 on the profitability of different farm sizes and how to make them better. We have quite a hard time to find more profit coming out of farms with more than 3,000 cows. It's like the curve goes quite well up to 3,000 cows, and then from 3,000 cows and upwards, it's we haven't seen the breakthrough in farm sizes above that. Maybe it's because 3,000 cows is basically one big rotary, and if you go above, then you actually need to double it to get 2 rotaries to get them about 6,000 cows. So it seems to me from the data we have access to, it's just quite good that around 3,000 cows we see everything done as well as possible, and we are fine-tuning so much in the last on the last parameters that from 3,000 upwards, I think we have reached what we can get out of it. Of course, you get more revenue with bigger farms, but profit per produced liter, we don't see it increase after 3,000 cows.
Yes, and what I see in the last year, we have a big discussion about environmental and climate changes. I think we have to need in China a look on the complete system around it. It's not only the farm, it's this complete system. And so this will be very important in the future time. I believe that also China is starting to get more about thinking about environmental around the dairy farm, and this will be one part in the production for the future time.
Yeah, for sure. Environmental issues are a big thing now in China, thankfully, and that was about time. So, and we see now more focus on the antibiotics. So all these things that we have been talking about in Europe for, like selected dry cow treatment was mandatory in Denmark for over 25 years ago. That was by law. And we're still talking about blanket cow treatment in many countries. So we have had 25 years in northern part of Europe already. This discussion is now coming to China, and we will see this grow quite fast. And as we see the farms develop here rapidly, I'm sure that all these trends we have in Europe, they will pick them up quite quickly and put them in action. If I know my good Chinese colleagues, this is how they do it. They go all in.
But I have a question. All you know about the challenge and concern of China now, but what's the concern of the European dairy sector now? Sven, do you know? Can you give some review on it?
I think it's also a very big fight for the dairy farmers in Europe, because prices are very low. We are now down to 2.3 RMB per kilogram of milk now in May and June, and hope that the raw milk price is rising up a little bit in this year. But we are in a very low area. What we see maybe in our company is that we have around 10 to 20% of the farms are producing really economic. So the other ones have to finance the milk production from other bases, from other parts of the farms. And so I think it's very hard changes. But what we see is that milk production in Europe is still growing 1 to 2% per year. So the milk production is there, but the pressure on the market is very high. I think this is also, and this is what I in my compared to China. China is completely different. They have completely the knowledge of the world is in China, and they are growing so fast. But I think they need a look for the future time more and more. How is the world market is producing, and also on the economic side. And I think this will be the question for the Chinese dairy farms. And this was my question about farm size, because I know also very successful smaller farms in China. Maybe if you go to the western part of China, you see that they are small size, could also be successful. And I think there will be a developing in the few next years, and then you will find the most successful farms. Yes.
Yeah, I think today we're missing one topic about is from a speaker from USA. And that's because of due to the time arrangement, we're not able to arrange the USA speaker online with a fitting time. But what do you think about, you see China importing a lot of maize and foders from American, and due to current China-USA conflict, does Europe see many opportunities to export more to China? Or where is the overproduction, the surplus of European to export to China of the milk product?
Yes, I believe that this is a chance for Europe or for Germany to export to China, but the price has to be the question, because you could sell a lot of things, but if the price is too cheap and is too low, so it makes no real sense to export to that market. Yes, so I believe we need a good price that we also can get a good benefit for the dairy farmers here in Germany. And because the price inside of Germany is a good one. So if the value chain is good in Germany, so they can make a good price. And if you have to support your exports from that price, I think this will be problematic. So I think this is a good chance for the European dairy farmers in the future time for export. And what we hear today, 30% of the demand is from the export. And I think this will be also in the future years 30% importing milk production to China. But the price is the main question, if it is sensitive for a dairy farmer or for dairy processors from Germany to export to China.
Yeah, maybe like Mr. called Lily. Does your farm have any quota? And you know that some liters of your product sell to China, because I think there's some successful German milk producer who have good sales in China, and the imported liquid milk price in China is much lower than our own local milk. And of course, from price wisely, it makes sense to import more liquid milk from Germany to China. Yeah, what do you think about, does it link to your business, Mr. Lily? I think you didn't open your speaker, Mr. Cod. Yeah, you have to open your turn on your speaker.
Okay,
yeah,
now it should work out better.
Yeah.
Well, we are depending on exports. In Germany, we have about 10-15% surplus. So we have to export milk, and China and Asia is one big market. And as long as demand is high and prices are high in Germany and in Europe, the export is not that important. But as soon as the prices drop, the export is the wealth where the surplus of milk can go. So we depend a lot of the Asia markets.
Yeah, good to know. And as you see that China's dairy sector facing its own problem from the drugs and also even from malnutrition. And I also want to know, what's your major concern in your farm now?
Right now here, the environmental issues, the fertilizer issue on the land. Those are big problems where farmers, not only dairy farmers, but all farmers are facing big problems. New rules are applied.
What do you mean on the fertilizer? You mean
the amount of fertilizer you're allowed to apply on fields. So if the groundwater isn't in a good condition, you have to decrease by 20% the amount of fertilizer you can use.
Okay.
And then there are areas in Germany where just the land base is not available. Like our farm, we have 300 cows on 63 hectares. So we have to export manure out of the farm because of the rules.
But during COVID-19, and does your milk does your production have any influenced? How is your connection with the milk processing company, or you have your own production? So
we sell all the milk to a processor, and it's a cooperative, so we are a member of that company, and we don't process our milk.
Yeah, because during past 3 months, many farms in China really suffered from the transportation and the delivery of the milk. Do you have the similar problem recently?
Yes, for the milk that goes into exports, there are problems with transportation, availability of containers. Domestically, no. The supply chain is working in Germany, but internationally, yes.
Okay, that's good to know. And here we also have one attendee from Indonesia, Mr. Montong. Ms. Montong Paris, are you there, Ms. Montong? Ms. Montong, he's from Indonesia University. Hello, are you there? Ms. Montong?
Sorry, you continue. I just have to excuse myself because I have another meeting here. So thank you very much.
Okay,
guys.
thank you. Thank you very much, Snorri. Thank you. See you next time. See you somewhere. Yeah. My colleague, Malina, are you there? Malina? Hello, Malina Konglong, are you there? You didn't hear me. All right. Saskia, shall we close the event?
From my side, nothing to add. I think you did already really interesting discussion. So, and I guess whoever has more questions, feel free to contact via you or via DLG, our experts. And yeah. I'm sure they can share as well their knowledge for further questions.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you, Sven. Thank you very much for your sharing your experience and your view to China. I really hope to see you again soon. And especially, I'm more interested in your potato farm now.
Yes, I sent you the link. Yes, I will send it to you.
Yeah, that's okay. Very interesting. Yeah, thank you for all our attendees. Thank you, Anna. Thank you, Mr. Called Lily. I hope to see you at Eurotier, and definitely if you can come, and I hope to see you in Chengdu. But anyway, we should meet us soon in Eurotier. Yeah, thank you, Sven. Thank you, Sven Hauser. Yeah, thank you for your listening. Yeah, Mr. Holla, and we're keeping an eye on the visa and to see you in Chengdu. Yeah.
Okay. So
thank you. 再见.
Thanks
yeah,
a lot.
thank you, Miss Edma.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Bye bye. Bye bye. Bye bye. Thank you. Bye bye. Bye.